Thanks. That introduction. Thanks, Jamie. Life is ridiculous. July something, 1999. My wife Ann and I are in the car. We're driving north. We're headed to Woodstock, New Hampshire. We're searching for this weird place called Fifi's Clutter Shop. Also headed to Fifi's Clutter Shop on that really beautiful summer day were some of our best friends, Marty and Carrie and Jim. Marty, Jim, and I had been friends since high school. Marty and I had been best friends since we were 10 years old. Marty and I had developed a habit of leading the other into situations that could be considered suspicious by some. Most of the time, things worked out fine. Rarely did anyone get hurt. We usually kept our clothes on. This fully clothed adventure to Fifi's Clutter Shop actually was Marty and Carrie's brainchild. They had found Fifi's a year earlier and had decided this would be a really great place for a game. So we all arrived in this dusty dirt parking lot about the same time, and we convened to go over the rules. Each household would have $5. We'd have 20 minutes. We'd have to scour Fifi's Clutter Shop and find the ugliest, most embarrassing, horrible piece of art or home decor item, purchase it, run back to our cars, wrap it, trying to be unnoticed, wrap the gift, and then we would exchange names to find out whose art you would receive, and then we swapped. And then we'd have to take this new piece of art home and prominently display it for a year. It's really stupid, ridiculous, but it was grand. In fact, it is grand. You see, we have continued to play this game for 20 years. Fifi's has long since been shuttered. Now the artwork can be acquired by any means possible, but the price limit is still $5. So 2 weeks ago tonight, Ann and I were in the car driving north to New Boston, New Hampshire, just the other side of Francistown, to Marty and Carrie's home for this year's annual art swap of doom and despair. Over the years, we've needed to institute some more rules. One, you cannot make or have made for you or modify or alter the artwork that you bring. You cannot bring furniture as your art gift. You may not wrap a pet or any other living creature and try to give it as a gift. Over the years, friends and family have learned about this event and have been curious, maybe wanting to join. So many have come, some just to watch, some choose to play, some do not. There have been reports, multiple reports, of tearful rides home at the end of one of these evenings. Feelings have been hurt. Friendships have been lost. Yet still we persist. We have added ridiculous costumes and food and drink to this event. This year, Ann and I brought a cake. You know how you can now get a photograph printed in sugar to go on the top of a cake? So we had this cake with a picture of Jesus on it. Not just any Jesus, but a really horribly disastrous. It was so there was this nun. No, this is true. This is true. There was this nun in Spain a few years ago who took it upon herself, despite the lack of any formal training, took it upon herself to restore this deteriorating fresco in her church. And she tried her hardest. But by all accounts, when she was done, it really looks more like a monkey. You can Google this. It's true. It'll be the first hit you find. There in fact is a lot of really bad Jesus art in the world. We have found much of it. Much of it has hung on our walls for 365 days, as have pictures of unicorns, clowns, cats, many sparkling pink things. A few years ago, the art that Anne and I received, in addition to being absolutely horrific, was also oddly familiar. It wasn't until I got it home and had photographed it and posted it to Facebook that I was very quickly reminded that this painting had been done in one of my classes several years before. Thankfully, he had a very good sense of humor, and he, in fact, had been the one to take it to the dump earlier in that year. And my friends Nick and Ryan were fortunate enough to find it an hour or two later and realize they scored really big. It's a very odd painting. There's a person in a hazmat suit with a Geiger counter in a chicken coop with a goat. There's lots of pinks and greens. It's really quite bad. Making, but kind of great. Making good art is really hard. It takes a lot of practice. Behind every metropolitan Museum of Art masterpiece, there are thousands of just horrible failures. They were done with the best of intentions, but they just miss, right? So it's really these good faith attempts that we're celebrating with this night. In fact, that painting of that person, it's still on our wall. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and our thoughts and ideas about beauty do change over time. I think of this every time I look at that painting that I do quite love now. I don't feel the same way about the painted wooden cow or the fiber optic flower or a painting we've affectionately titled Stringdinsky. And we've got this big horrible lamp that just doesn't seem to ever leave the house. Well, sometimes trying your best can be absolutely the worst. Sometimes the worst can represent the best. And sometimes it's these really silly, ridiculous rituals we create that best express our love and affection for each other. Thank you.